A New Hope, Nier Chapter 141 Fan Fiction by Azazyel. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel for listening and patreon.com/Azazyel to read all of Azazyel's stories. I took zero joy in genocide. I especially took zero joy in the genocide of injured and sick sentient beings. But I did what I had to do. As there would be no peace between the Covenant and humanity at this time. But I did not break, I just buried the dying screams of grunts, elites, brutes, and all other Covenant races deep down as we walked out of the purged medical wing of the super carrier with my detachment continued on towards the Prophet's quarters. Jake, Oni, and the human forces are requesting that you to capture the Prophet to hold him as ransom to sue for peace. White's voice hit my ears with utter disdain dripping in her voice and I shook my head. My voice came out a little tight as I had never killed so many sentient beings before, but my mind was cold and clear as I was in mission mode. Pointless. The prophets won't stop the invasion for merely a single prophet. They know the Forerunners have artifacts and other things here, so they aren't going to lose UT on their divine relics for a potential rival. I then asked as we walked through the empty halls of the super carrier, walking over the frozen, electrocuted, or even fried corpses of countless Covenant forces that expired when Yoarha forces violently turned the ship against its occupants. How goes the progress in acquiring the Forerunner ship and the space-time crystal? There was a pause before a sigh rang out. The ship is lost to us, unfortunately. Due to several Spartans arriving to destroy the Forerunner ship with a modified slip space drive engineered to go off like an anti-reality nuke. We however managed to acquire the space-time crystal. She finished with some joy at finding the anomalous object that could solve our faster-than-light speed travel issue. Good. I said simply and then took a breath as we had reached the barred doors leading into the Prophet's personal quarters and it was even better defended than the damned bridge was. As the thick alloy door was surrounded by 3 separate energy shields. Thankfully automatic turrets aren't really a Covenant thing with how they disdain higher forms of technology that didn't come from what they snatched from the Forerunners. I thought as a couple D units took out a masso draining tool we had found was perfect in draining energy shields of their energy and after a couple minutes the energy shield had weakened enough due to overstrain that the executioner and battle units which were following me were able to break the shield emitters on the door. Then it was my turn to combine some lightning and air elemental magic to form some plasma to burn our way through the door and I cut a good square hole through the alloy door before pushing the 2-meter thick alloy plug into the Prophet's quarters with a loud crashing noise. Within the depths of the Prophet's quarters, Covenant forces clad in gleaming silver armor symbolizing their highest status, of their purity of faith and valor stood at attention. On the blood of our fathers, on the blood of our sons. We swore an oath to uphold the Covenant. An elite spoke as he paced through the lines of Covenant forces with a plasma sword drawn but not a single Covenant flinched as his sword came inches away from their forms as they stood stock still. Even to our dying breath. The troops chanted in turn. The humans are using some terrible witchcraft to turn our ship against ourselves. They are using foul sorcery of their misbegotten kind to slay our people. The elite shouted and you could all but hear the blood pumping in the ears of the zealous Covenant forces as they shouted in turn. We shall grind them into dust. The leading elite whirled on the end of the room, on the door leading to the front of the Prophet's quarters and he shouted while pointing the plasma sword at the door. Show neither pity nor mercy for heretics, the pretenders who obstruct the great journey. Kill them all as soon as the door is broken into. A loud scream of heavy metal scratching against metal rang out as the door gave way as a large portion of the thick alloy door was cut open and as soon as the block of metal was moved the silent zealots roared a deathly challenge as they laid a hail of plasma fire into the hole cut into the door. Then like the voice of the devil made incarnate a human voice rang out with little to no inflection. All right, my turn then. And the Covenant's forces lost all sight as endless swirling sand filled the long glorious hall leading into the Prophet's final resting place. Screams rang out among Covenant forces as black blurs passed through the sand but whoever was near those black blurs was instantly cut down by large weapons that ignored an elite's energy shield. I once again walked over the piles of corpses that my androids left across the ground and I took a deep breath as I finally cut into the final door leading to the Prophet leading this super carrier. Filthy demon, your misbegotten kind will not claim the stars even if they designated you the reclaimers. A voice howled as I entered the opulent room and I laid eyes upon the ugly form of the Covenant prophet who was inlaid on some kind of floating chair. Humanity was the Forerunners' reclaimers. You are just a thief stealing our inheritance. I stated bluntly and the prophet's chair hummed to life letting me know he was going to resist to the end. Even as the chair lit up with lasers coming towards me, I just dashed forward, sliding under the laser shots as I took out Berta's contract, and before the super floating chair could zoom away, I coated my body with lightning to increase my speed, and with a crunching noise I sliced through the prophet's neck, allowing his head to fall and along with it, his floating chair to hit the ground with a soft thudding noise.